So sometimes, you know the way the guns fight. Magic way, then you stop.
But hold me back.
Mr. One.
Hi.
Thank you. Okay.
I have a message for your people. Anything to say?
I've already given my message. Yes, it's we give thanks to God and thank you to all who cast their vote. But to be assured of the fact that my representation of the constituency is not just for my party or those who voted, but as usual, as in my previous terms, it's to represent all members of the constituency and to work diligently to make sure that they're getting the best that they can as a constituency. Thank you.
Thank you too.
So I can't congratulate you.
What was that?
My mom's here.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you. You just refuse to back down, even when you know that you are.
This game. Back down. If you yield, you're going to be down the more. So sometimes, you know the way the guns fight. Magic way, then you stop.
But hold me back.
Take care, my dear.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Watch you. Yeah.
Clotilde Corley, how excited are you about the prospect of representing this great constituency again?
Well, there is a bit of excitement, but there's also that sense of responsibility because my previous 2 terms were in opposition, and this term is going to be as a member of the ruling government. And of course, expectations are very high, and it's also about managing expectations because the reality of where we are is Ghana is in a bad space, and a lot of work has to be done to get us out of this. And it's going to be an interesting challenge, and I do pray that we'll be able to deliver what we promise to the people of Ghana, which is a level of integrity of leadership and of course transparency and probity in our governance.
Now, what do you think did the trick for you this time? Because you came up against some very strong opposition. What do you think did the trick for you?
Well, I think at the end of the day, by God's grace, people decided who would be a more genuine representative in spite of the amount of money that was pumped into the constituency, and I believe that's something that happened across the country. And I'm really glad that the voters showed that level of discernment because to my surprise, the amount of money that we saw being thrown around made me wonder, why is Ghana in this mess in the first place if there was that much money? Why wasn't it used to make people's lives better? But I'm grateful to God because the machinations were quite extensive. But I believe that the hard work now begins. Winning is not the end, it's the beginning of the journey of the work that one has to do, and I'm committed to doing so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, this is my good friend. I didn't come here. I still remain. Oh, I know.
Retake it. Okay, you retake one.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, it was a good fight. It was a very, very
this meeting should focus on the budget for the first 3 months of 2025. And then the NPP caucus must recognize that the Ghanaian people have voted to reset this country. They voted against all of these crony tax waivers, which is just not in the national interest. I mean, President Akufo-Addo took office promising, read his first State of the Nation address, that he was going to deal with this abuse of tax waivers, and that tax waivers have been a drain on national revenues. So what has changed? I mean, there's no way we are going to support over $350 million in tax waivers to their crony companies. I mean, these are the things Ghanaians voted against: state capture, cronyism, nepotism, things that, I mean, you keep imposing excruciating, obnoxious, nauseating nuisance taxes on the ordinary Ghanaian. Then those who can pay, corporate Ghana, a selected few, just about 46 companies, because they are your cronies, they shouldn't pay taxes. They should have tax waivers. Why? When everybody else, when the Ghanaian people, the masses, said that don't impose e-levy, you slapped us in the face and even organized a party and baked an e-levy cake, insulted us on top of it. And all of them, the top hierarchy, were at that party. When the Ghanaian people said that, look, we hate e-levy. I mean, Momo is for the vulnerable, the ordinary folks. Don't tax it. They defied us. That's why they have been punished. We have stated that we are the only country, many months after COVID has been declared by WHO as no longer a pandemic. Ghana is the only country that our president continues to tax us. We have said COVID levy should go. They are refusing to abolish COVID levy, refusing to abolish the emissions tax, refusing to abolish the betting tax. And yet they've selected a few crony companies. And in this last minute, midnight, at the death of their administration, when they have been so roundly rejected by unprecedented margins, a margin of over 1.6 million, you still want to come and smuggle tax waivers. We are not going to accept it. We would not. Because we are coming in to remove all of these obnoxious taxes. So we are going to have to deal with revenue shortfalls because of these taxes we are going to remove. The companies who must pay their fair share, you want to select your crony companies, about 46 of them, and make us lose revenue of over $350 million. That $350 million, it can help the new government to establish the Women's Development Bank so that our women can have their capital. That $350 million can help us to implement the no-fee stress so that first-year students who gain admission to our universities will not have to pay admission fees. It can help us to complete the e-blocks. It can help us to complete the Agenda 111 hospitals. Why do you want to deny the new government, the incoming government, of over $350 million in national revenues? Because you don't want your crony companies to pay their fair share. Look, the only matter we will work with, so far as revenues are concerned, is if they agree with us that immediately we should abolish e-levy, we should abolish the COVID levy, abolish the emissions tax, abolish betting tax. That one they will get our cooperation, because we've stated clearly on the campaign trail, it's in our manifesto, and we said in our first budget, the first 120 days, we are going to abolish all these taxes. But any other revenue measure targeted at supporting crony companies, nepotistic companies, how did they select those companies? What criteria was used? And they hide under, we are supporting 1D, 1F. It is not true. They just don't want crony companies to pay their fair share, and we are not going to allow that. Thank you. You're welcome, Constituency John Dramani. And the Galamsey matter, amending the LI, those are urgent matters. But to our surprise, no, the Honorable Afenyo Markin and the NPP side, and Nyama Ghana are rejecting this business of tax waivers. Over $350 million tax waivers, or more selective, or more companies, crony companies. EPSA, Yama, those about 46 companies, no, tax waivers, or Modia or Muntia taxes. Yantiasia, for many, many months, Ghana for any year on the minority side, Yakase, the issues about your taxes, which have to be addressed. Any taxes are very obnoxious, nuisance taxes. They say COVID levy. Ghana Nkwana, COVID, WHO for declared says no longer a pandemic. Many months ago. Yankwana, Yaguswa, Yeji, COVID levy. Yankwana, Yeji, e-levy. Betting tax, emissions tax. Taxes we muka say move on mine from taxation to production. Muna mwabe imposing taxes are kuyen, businesses are collapsing. Let us rather address that. Ye e-levy, COVID levy, emissions tax, betting tax. Instead, no, Moody more selected more favorite companies, chronic companies, about 46. Kase yen supported tax waivers for them in excess of $350 million. Meaning, sa $350 million. Mu deny incoming government, President Mahama government. Imagine what that $350 million can do. Yakasa yaba. Ya pesa ya establish women's development bank. Sa $350 million. Ebe to me abwa. Ama yamba Ghana mba under the first female vice president of the republic, Professor Nana Jokopwaji. Ama mwa to me anya omo capital to expand their businesses. Sa $350 million. Ebe to me abwa ye. Ama ya expand the access in education to abolish double track, because here to me a complete e-blocks, no AC dormitories, AC classrooms. There's no need for this, very detrimental double track to continue. So $350 million. I bet to me a boy, where coin, yensio, your hospitals, yenye hospital re-equipping for more than 10 years. The last time I Ghana, hospital re-equip, you tore X-rays, MRIs, dialysis machines, more than 10 years ago. $350 million. And the one is President Akufo-Addo by Munko in the first state of the nation address. Or can say tax waivers, no, a coup on mine, tax waivers in ye. Now tax waivers, no, as I say, you address it. Into your then assessor, other than why you U10. In this last minute, midnight way, Mope say, yebe approve tax waivers of over $350 million. Into, as I said on the floor, they will not get our support. They won't get our cooperation. The only revenue measure, you best support your mom. Any e-levy, you abolish it. Betting tax, you abolish it. COVID levy, you abolish it. Emissions tax, you abolish it. And then taxes are a bit what the ordinary folks. And no dear, mom pese muye huejuma, mom pese mube abolish it. But companies, a kukudam, kesia are more. The muscle, the financial muscle to pay their fair share. Or more dear, more person or more better or more fair share. More person more tax waivers. More selective 46 of them. Say more be more tax waivers, more tier taxes. Meanwhile, the masses, yenyana, pamuchosa say e-levy should go, COVID levy should go. And during the campaign, more say Baumia Eka say COVID levy on support Beko. Say e-levy obechum. This is the opportunity. Why are you bringing something else? Something that you didn't promise the Ghanaian people. That's something that is not, contained in your manifesto. Something that in your first State of the Nation address, Woka say, tax waivers, no, deny Ghana revenue and boye. Inti edena asisa. Inti yama firm indication and assurance. Say this tax waivers agenda, enya dia yabepene. The only business, as I say, this time, but these few days, we have this dying moments of the 8th Parliament. And it's one, budget, so that we can pay workers for 2025, the first 3 months. Number 2, Galamsey, the Galamsey crisis. The LI has to be repealed. And then, possibly number 3, the transition, Speaker Bagbin, the presidential transition bill. And maybe an environmental protection bill. Now we were almost done. But any business out of this, particularly tax waivers, any idea you have?
Honorable, so what programs, 24-hour economy, and many programs are more personal any policies. This it is too early say because you repeal such taxes. Maybe I'm better taking more time. I'm go through. No one near was a way and I say it's not some kind of during campaign into them. You want to do that?
No, it's not too early at all. OSHA, your manifesto, your CASE, first 120 days. These are our priorities. These taxes must go because Ghana for bread. Who can Afro barometer? 8 out of 10 Ghanaians, I say, this country is in the wrong direction. Ghana, for what I say, 41% of them say unemployment is a big challenge. Omunim in Krofua, they've gone to bed, the whole day, Eduane, Indi. Ninyana Wafu barometer. If you look at even the scale of the defeat of the NPP, I want you we have no excuse. And Ghana for Amaya, the numbers, we have over 2/3. We have no excuse. I can assure you, sir, this matter will receive the urgency. President Mahama will not hesitate at all. In the spirit of the shocking defeat, we showed the scale. And you know, say MPP for a pole position, but we didn't envisage say you know, for the Parliament of Ghana.